Welcome to Tallahassee for game one of our ACC College Hoops doubleheader tonight. Clemson is in town looking for their 5th straight win. Meanwhile, Florida State wants to snap a 2-game skid. Tigers and Noles in the first of 2 coming up next. Well, a pretty good slate of ACC action tonight, and we welcome you to the Tucker Center here in the Florida State Capitol for the first of 2 meetings in the span of 2 weeks between the Clemson Tigers, now number 11 in the country, and Florida State. And great to be with Mike Jaminski. Wes Durham, welcome courtside to our coverage. Clemson's won 4 straight. Dante Grantham's been gone about 6 games, but Mike, the reality of it is Gabe DeVoe's been a big factor for Clemson.
Well, you know, just wasn't going to be one person pick it up, Wes, but Clemson continues to climb the polls nationally, and a lot of it has been due to this guy. I mean, he has really stepped his game up since Grantham has gone down, knocking down threes, 20-plus a game. And the thing about it, Wes, he can score in a variety of ways. You have to honor him outside. He can put the ball on the floor as well as most of the guys on the perimeter for Clemson. They're all going to have good nights against the tough Florida State team.
Dangerous combinations for the Tigers on the perimeter. Meanwhile, Florida State has lost 2 in a row, and Brian Angola's got a rebound as well.
Yeah, they've got 3 of their top 6 scorers have really been struggling in 3 of their last 4 games, and Angola being one of those guys. You know, he's got to step up. He's a key guy. They can't suffer losing the offense that they have from those 3.
Well, it's a big night in the ACC, and we're happy to start it for you from Tallahassee with the Seminoles and Tigers. When we come back, starting lineups, first half play-by-play. It's on the way right after you see this. ACC basketball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. The tools you want, you got it. And by the Works Hydro Shot, the first portable power cleaner. Ready, aim, clean. Come on, man. Welcome back to the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. We get ready for the 72nd meeting all time between Florida State and Clemson. Here are the starting lineups. The number 11 Tigers, of course, have plugged Amir Sims into the starting lineup since the Dante Grantham injury. Sims combined with Clyde Trapp, Mike, and some others kind of offset the minutes that Grantham gave Clemson, and no change for Florida State with Kofor Kamaji and the 3 guards.
Yeah, and, you know, the only thing that really you couldn't cover for was his ability to bring the ball out of the backcourt. You know, he was just such an important player for them, but it's amazing to me how they've weathered that loss. And
what a marvelous job.
Brad Brownell, maybe not just Coach of the Year honors in the running, certainly in the conference, maybe in the country if they keep going the way they are with their ranking.
Well, of course, Brownell now with the team at 20-4 on the season in his 8th season at Tiger Town. And Leonard Hamilton tonight with a win. It would be number 300 with the Noles and 500 in 31 seasons as a head coach for the 69-year-old native of Gastonia, North Carolina. And, of course, a 71 graduate of Tennessee Martin. Chris Kamaji and Elijah Thomas get us started from the Tucker Center tonight. And the Noles have it first here.
Elijah Thomas is going to be important for Clemson, too, I think, Wes. You know, just how he defends, and especially staying out of early foul trouble against the size that the Seminoles can throw out there.
Here's Walker and Terrence Mann, the junior from Lowell, Mass. Almost turned over. Kofor's got it with 7 to shoot. He'll size up a 3. And the long rebound for Mann and an offensive chance on the opening possession for the Noles here. On the drive and lost by Angola to Marquise Reed.
It looks like, yeah, you look at it, the team that's out there that Florida State has size at almost every position.
This is Shelton Mitchell, junior from Waxhaw, North Carolina. He, Reed, and DeVoe have really stepped up their game in absence of Grantham.
Well, the rate that they've been shooting threes over this stretch has just been incredible.
And Amir Sims knocks down just his 6th 3 of the year.
Yeah, and it's, you know, that's like found money. Guys shoot 20% from the
from the field from 3, and then he gets off to a great start.
Clemson's been averaging 10 threes a game in the last 5. That certainly has helped also offset Grantham's injury.
Yeah, and this is a Florida State that does not defend the 3 very well. So, you know, it could be a good mixture for the Tigers.
Out of the corner, Angola still struggling. Brian Angola now 1 of his last 12 from 3.
It's always tough to jump shoot yourself out of that kind of slump too, Wes. Better to get something going to the rim, maybe get to the free throw line, see the ball go through the basket.
2 minutes gone, and Clemson on its second possession. Mitchell for Reed's 3. Thomas tried to keep it alive, and last touched by Eli Thomas. Mike, if you're Florida State, you're here after a 15-point loss Saturday at Notre Dame where you shot only 41%. You're only shooting 40% from the floor in this 2-game skid. You got to have something good happen early here, don't you?
Yeah, and they look a little sluggish come out for early in this game. And it's, you know, not running their offense smoothly, and lazy, getting a little back there on defensively. This is just a Clemson team that's playing at a very high level, very confident level right now.
5-0 Angola inside. Brian Angola puts the Noles on the board.
Yeah, that's what the, you know, when things are not rolling, build inside out. Try to get something going into the lane. Post up some of your bigs where you have a little bit of a mismatch.
Here's Mitchell going to work, spinning from Walker. Boy, Sims has got all 5 of them, and that one's an air ball.
I think he's used up his 3 for the game right now. If you're Brad Brownell.
So Amir Sims, who hit his 6th 3 a moment ago, went back to buy 1 more.
Even though there was a serious downdraft in the building that we didn't feel at this end.
5-2 in favor of the Tigers. Clemson's got 3 road wins in the ACC. Man. And then Reed knocked it away and has the turnover. Reed to the hoop. Got slapped out of there. Knowles chased it down. Last touch by Florida State.
Yeah, good transition. And, you know, and Reed was not on his game against Pitt, suffering from the flu. And now he's had all this time to rest and recover. Probably a good time for this team in general. Although when you're winning, you want to get back out there as quickly as possible.
3 turnovers on the Knowles here early. And this is Shelton Mitchell. He comes into the ball game, leading Clemson in assists at almost 4 a game. 10 to shoot now as Reed works against Angola. 5 to shoot. Clemson's got to go. I'm not sure Reed knows. And he lost the handle on it. And a shot clock violation will stop a transition chance. And that's one of the things you'd like to see changed.
It's one of my pet peeves. And, you know, I have many of them, Wes. But you basically you didn't reward good defense, and you took 2 points away from Florida State in that situation. It's clear that they were going to get the basketball, and I think that the referees have to have some discretion in play on in that situation.
Yep. Here's Mann slicing through. Oh, went for the big hammer and draws the foul. Terrence Mann trying to energize this crowd at the Tucker Center.
Yeah, they need to be fired up. And again, this is the size that they have, that they can come in 6'6", 6'7" at the wings.
So Mann will go to the line. He's a 70% free throw shooter. Florida State shooting just 71% at the line. Let's get a quick check of tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer, Mike.
Well, I think for the Clemson Tigers, Wes, they've got to win the battle of the lines. And what I mean by that is they've got to dominate the statistic from the three-point line and from the free throw line. And for Florida State, they've got to maximize their size, whether it be shot blocking inside, offensive rebounds, you know, making Clemson play and put some bigger players in the game.
Leonard Hamilton's gone to his bench. Ike Obiagu has checked in for the first time. Clemson also likewise a change. David Scarra, wearing number 24, has moved into the lineup for the Tigers. And Sims off the bounce has 3 field goals and all 7 Clemson points here.
Clemson averaging 3 a game. But we touched on at the top with Grantham. You got to spread that around. Those points aren't going to come from one person.
Koper, Obiagu, whistle and a foul. And the foul will go to Thomas. So the junior transfer from Dallas, his first. Number 2 on the Tigers. And we get a break at the Tucker Center. Number 11, Clemson, out in front early by 5. Florida State trails by 5 to Clemson here early at the first break of the action. Back with Mike Cheminsky, Wes Durham, and our great ACC College Hoops crew. And we mentioned Terrence Mann, who missed a couple of free throws after the dunk attempt. Mike, he's our hearty star to watch tonight, and he's the 16th best scorer in the league at 14.5. But you see his conference numbers there.
And he's one of the guys who's been struggling, Wes. I mean, 6 games ago, he drops 30 on Georgia Tech. Since that time, those games, 45 total.
Yep.
So he's another one that needs to get back into that mid-range double-figure scoring.
Ike Obiagu, the 7-foot, 240-pound freshman from Abuja in Nigeria, who played at Green Forest Christian in the Atlanta area, is at the line. He's not a particularly strong free throw shooter, just 31% on the year. And the miss makes him 10 of 33. Second one looked a little better.
And boy, one of the more unusual styles that I've seen is guide hand, meaning his left hand was never on the basketball. He basically shot it one-handed with that other hand about an inch or a half away.
Tell you what, he could use old 43 in the Royal Blue out there to work with him one day. Maybe next time you're in town, you can help him. Donnell, a 3. How about that? Mark Donnell, the grad transfer from Michigan, his 14th 3 of the year. So 2 bigs have knocked down triples from a team getting a ton of them from guards.
But he's one, Wes, who's shooting over 50%. Maybe he should take that shot out for a test drive a little bit more. I mean, he can knock it down. Here's the look, great pass, and just, if you can see, no big in the area for Florida State. Everybody were a little reluctant to come out and guard that. And this is a game so far where Gabe DeVoe has not even taken a shot. So letting other people get involved, you know he's going to get into the scoring column at some point.
And somebody other than Skim scoring, and there's Skara knocking it away. Here's DeVoe trailing for 3 off the right. Rattled out, Skara inside, battled Obiagu, last touch by the Tigers. Well, here comes offense for Florida State. As you get a look at the Valpo transfer, David Skara from Croatia. And here is P.J. Savoy, the junior from Vegas, who's appearing in just his 7th game against the ACC after suffering through a bit of a knee injury. Played the other day at Notre Dame for the first time after missing the previous 7 ball games. He is instant offense.
Yeah, he had, and on either end of that stretch, had 11-point games.
Yeah.
So obviously missed his offense.
And M.J. Walker's also come in. So Savoy and Walker with Obiagu. Trent Forrest is also checked in off the Florida State bench. And Leonard Hamilton would like a visit with his club here. So a 30-second timeout for the Tiger head coach, or the Seminoles head coach, because the Tigers have run off to an early 7-point lead.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that is just been Florida State being careless with the basketball and points off turnovers. You know, you hate to talk about trends when it's 10-3.
Sure.
But, you know, the fact is that, you know, it is occurring.
Florida State just one of their first 3, also 4 turnovers here early in the ballgame. Don't forget, coming up next, we'll send you to Winston-Salem. Justin Kutcher's back from the Westminster Dog Show to work for Corey Alexander tonight at the Joel Coliseum, and the Deacons and the Jackets.
Yeah, he had done a game at Butler and took a picture outside sitting next to the Bulldog, and Advance was going up there and said, I want that to be, that's got to be best in show right there.
So Justin and Corey with you next from the Twin Cities tonight. Wake Forest has lost 3 straight. So has Georgia Tech. Somebody gets off the schneid tonight in Winston-Salem in game 2. Here's Walker out of the Florida State timeout. 3 to shoot. Trent Forrest had it stripped out of there by Mitchell. 5 turnovers on Florida State, and here's Shelton Mitchell.
They're really quick hands and not good recognition on the shot clock.
Donnell, the 3. Skara try for the tip. Rebound, Cabangeli. Beyondu Cabangeli, the redshirt freshman off the bench now for Florida State. And Savoy launching. Rattled out for P.J. Savoy.
Yeah, and even on the misses, there really has not been a presence on the offensive glass for Florida State.
Lead 7 for Clemson. Donnell left open again. Wide open 3, bounds to Kofor. Florida State trying to get something going offensively here in the game's first 6 minutes. Just one field goal and 1 of 4 at the line are the Noles.
Things really spread out for Florida State, not playing with much of a post presence at all.
Go for a high arcing three. Missed everything. Reed. Trying to get away from MJ Walker. Here's DeVoe. Cabangeli switches off on Gabe DeVoe. Skips to Skara. 8 to shoot. Now Mitchell near the timeline. Left hand three. Missed everything. Hit the glass.
Well, not a lot of getting accomplished in this game up and down to this point.
And not great shot selection by either school. And Savoy missing.
And there have been a lot of early threes taken by Florida State, not working through the offense.
Marquise Reed knocks down a triple. Reed averaging 15.8 against the conference. He's Clemson's leading scorer, 12th in the league in conference play, and he makes it a 10-point game.
Well, the Seminoles look right now, Wes, just the body language like it's a standing 8 count. You know, they don't know what's hitting with this barrage of threes.
Walker slides through and dunks it in. MJ Walker, the freshman south of Atlanta at Jonesboro. Mike with a strong move to the cup.
Yeah, you know, haven't been many baskets, but only 1 assist, and a lot of stuff off the dribble, but a good, at least, you know, positive, powerful move to the basket.
8-point lead for Clemson. Skara lines up another one. Missed badly there. Savoy the rebound. Walker trying to energize the Noles and knocks down the 2. MJ Walker with back-to-back baskets now off Coach Hamilton's bench.
That's, again, working in, working out. Enough, you know, the drive, setting up that shot. First made 3 of the game for, I guess they made a 2 for the Seminoles.
6-point game. Reed with 13 to shoot. Here's Mitchell. And another 3 by Clemson.
You know, I love the ball movement. Clemson has great spacing. They're getting that high pick and roll. And then the extra pass on the wing, a good open look.
Tigers are 4 of 11 from 3, and 4 of their 6 field goals are triples.
Yep, and only 3 shots inside the arc.
Mitchell draws the foul. MJ Walker, a couple of big baskets for Florida State. Back in a moment. 8-point lead for Clemson, 16-8. Tigers kind of moving it with the 3-point shot here early. And Mike, here's a quick look at teams in the top 25 of the Associated Press poll as we started the week. Virginia, of course, number 1 for the first time since '82.
Yeah, and you know, going from unranked at the beginning of the year to number 1 has not been done often. And then you see Clemson the last time it was 97 when they were ranked ahead of Duke and North Carolina.
Yep.
And
how about tonight's tell you what, let's go places? That's a long time ago now, right?
Yeah.
So Walker was given a 3, by the way, on that second shot. The one that we originally called a 2. They changed during the timeout. Checked on the monitor and ruled a 3. Here's DeVoe off another turnover and a whistle and foul before the Skara follow.
Yeah, I think, you know, starting with him, that job number 1 is going to be to try to drive them off the 3-point line, make it a 2-point shooting game.
Dave DeVoe, 76% at the line. First and good. Clemson, by the way. Mike, we look at numbers sometimes and they can overwhelm us as we get ready for these games. Clemson shooting 78% at the free throw line as a team in conference play.
And you've done this conference enough to know that that was always the Achilles heel of the Clemson Tigers. I
Absolutely.
mean, if they were over 60% of the team, that was a win. So that's a huge improvement.
Yep. DeVoe hit them both. First points for the senior from Shelby, North Carolina. 10-point lead again for the Tigers. Here's Angola. Well, Florida State would desperately love to get him started, and he'll draw a foul from Shelton Mitchell. That's 2 on Mitchell of Clemson's 4. And make a note there, Mike, with 10:53 to go, because Reed will have to come onto the floor. Clyde Trapp has entered the ball game, a freshman from Eastover, South Carolina. And Shelton Mitchell, averaging 12 a game, sits down with just a 3-point goal to his credit. Step back, Angola for 2. Tap follow, touched out by Cabangeli. It'll belong to Clemson.
Yep. First time they've even got a hand on a ball on a missed shot inside. Really good group rebounding by Clemson.
A little pressure being offered in the backcourt here by the Noles.
And then just in a all-out Walker and an all-out denial of DeVoe, not letting him get the ball back. Puts the ball in Reed's hand.
Reed, Scarra. Skips it in the corner, DeVoe. Boy, Walker recovered nicely for Florida State there. 10 to shoot. DeVoe pays no mind and buries the 3.
I was surprised that Walker was that far away from him. You almost think that he would be in a no-help situation, especially with DeVoe.
5 for DeVoe, who's hitting 48% of his 3-point shots against the league. Knocked away and turned over again. Loose ball into the forecourt that DeVoe runs down. And a foul on C.J. Walker. That will be his first. Second on Florida State.
Well, and this is, it's where the turnovers are occurring, Wes, and most of them have been out in the front court where Clemson has the opportunity to push it up the floor and try to make something happen. And here's the look, and this, the hands down for just a second, and Gabe DeVoe does not need a lot of time to launch that shot.
Here's Clyde Trapp, the freshman, driving all the way to the basket and scoring. He's part of the package, if you will, to pick up the minutes since Dante Grantham's injury. And Trapp had 3 points at Pittsburgh, against Pittsburgh a week ago, last Thursday night, and he's played double-figure minutes in the last 3 ball games for Coach Brownell.
And not the score that the others are, but you like his length and you like his defensive capabilities.
Man knocks down a 3. See if that sparks Florida State at both ends, Mike.
Yeah, no, that was actually pretty well contested by Scar as well.
12-point game. Reed. All the way across the floor. Here's Trapp. Pull up is way strong. Man on the run out. Walker, flying by, will draw the foul on DeVoe.
See, and that's, Wes, either you have to commit to taking the charge or you let it go. And DeVoe picked up a cheap foul, and you talked about it. They can't afford him and the other perimeter guys to get fouls like that. Committed. I mean, see here, right here. I mean, you're not going to get that call. Yeah, you just let it go.
A little hip check, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Almost like a line change was coming for Clemson in the. There's Walker, and the free throw rattles out. He's a 75% free throw shooter. Sophomore from Indianapolis. Elijah Thomas has come back for Donnell in the Tiger order.
And Walker's been really kind of up and down. It's been either or over the last 6 games. Either he scores in low single digits or he gives you double figures.
Wears number 2 because of Kyrie Irving, who now wears number 11 in Boston, but you understand. And both of them rattle out. Walker almost looks like, hey, wait a second, I'm a pretty good free throw shooter. Florida State just 1 of 6 at the line as Reed tries to beat Forrest off the bounce. DeVoe and Angola lined up out in the front court. And a double dribble call by Roger Ayers, and Clemson will turn it over.
A nice job by Angola at that time, keeping DeVoe in front. Maybe too much dribbling in that play, not enough ball movement.
And Brad Brownell sees his team with an unforced error. And here's Walker against Trapp. 20 to shoot, Forrest to work. Mann had the 3 a moment ago. Drives and scores. Terrence Mann. 2 very nice moves to the basket. 1 the long jumper, and now the hard drive off the dribble.
And Florida State showing some patience. You see everything open up right there. And Mann, a very strong finish at the rim.
Scar's first, 6 on Clemson. Terrence Mann, the free throw.
6 in a row for Man.
And the more efficient that Florida State is, it gives them the ability to push up the court a little bit. Just more an effort to take some time off the clock.
Got to be careful with Clemson here, though, don't you? And Brad Brownell wants a timeout. His use it or lose it 30 here in this first half. 8:26 to go.
Hey, I think it's just more of a sense of he feels maybe Florida State starting to chip away a little bit during this stretch. Seminoles are taking better care of the basketball, are getting some shots.
Mike, we'll come back. Tigers by 9. 8:26 to go in this first half at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. ACC basketball is brought to you by Spirit Communications. Our fiber, our network, your business. Back with Mike Jaminski, West Durham at the Tucker Center here in Tallahassee. Florida State trailing by 9. And out of Brad Brownell's timeout, Tigers with the ball in the forecourt. Clemson has kind of dictated the tempo of the ball game, Mike, here in the first 12 minutes almost to play.
Yeah, through turnovers, I thought they've been pretty efficient in the half court as well. And you look at Florida State, Wes, and a smaller team out there relative to the size they have.
Trapp had it stripped and last touched by Forrest with 1 on the shot clock.
Kofi, your biggest guy out there right now at 6'8", so Florida State reacting to Clemson and how they play. 1 second on the clock.
What kind of shot the Tigers get here? Remember, the clock does not start. Shot or game until the ball's touched. Thomas the catch. Got it up on the glass. Couldn't finish. Florida State on a run out. Man's pass deflected. He got it right back, though. Angola threw it away. Didn't pull the trigger. Here's DeVoe. Reed left open.
And they will not hesitate to shoot that 3 on the run.
Forrest shook Reed and scores.
Wow. Well, this is it's interesting. He's got double figures twice in the ACC West, but both of them on the road.
Foul on Angola in the backcourt against DeVoe.
But here's the look. I mean, he just left Marquise Reed looking for his shoes.
An 8-0 run. Florida State bench thought there was a timeout. Remember, there was one called with 8:26 to go. 8-0 run by the Noles has cut this thing down to 7. And Roger Ayers is trying to get the shot clock operator to reset here. And that gets communicated, so Clemson has the ball. Teams are all confused. They thought there was an under 8 timeout, a shot clock, and we got everything back on balance over here. Boy, Knowles have really extended the pressure here, Mike.
Yeah, and Walker is trying to set the screen, but forced that shot probably about 3 feet out farther than he wanted it.
Here's C.J. Walker, who plays with M.J. Walker, Mann, Cofer, and Forrest for Florida State. Trent Forrest does not shoot many threes. He does drive it, though. Cofer the rebound of the miss. 7 minutes to go first half. Knowles trying to extend this run. Mann and a hand check on Trapp. Clyde Trapp, the freshman, his first. That is 7, though, on Clemson with 6:54 to go here in the first half. So 1-1 coming up for Terrence Mann out of Lowell, Mass.
But early on, the Seminoles have left some points, West. At the free throw line, 2 of 7. But, you know, the way Clemson plays, they don't really get you into the penalty early because of all the threes that they take. You know, as aggressive as Florida State has been attacking the rim, at least they're getting to the line now.
7 for Mann. Those have kind of almost had to calm down a little bit here, haven't they?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I thought they were flat when they first came out, and now I think that Leonard Hamilton maybe has jump-started them a little bit by extending the pressure up the floor.
Trapp. Remember now, Mitchell over there on the bench with the 2 fouls. Clemson's missed their last 4 shots from the floor. Lead has been trimmed down to 5. Here's Thomas a catch inside and score and foul. First points for Elijah Thomas, Mike. come on a nice long bounce pass in front of the rim.
Yeah, and that was a great duck in and seal as well. He looked right in there and had Kofor on his back and a good left-handed finish.
Foul on Trent Forrest. His first, 4 now on Florida State. And Elijah Thomas, 61% at the line. Missed the chance at the three-point trip. Lead is 7. That snapped the Florida State run, by the way, at 10 straight.
Well, Florida State in conference has not won a game where they haven't scored 80 points, and they're going to have to put their foot on the gas right now to get there in the last 26 minutes.
Inside, kick out, MJ Walker's 3. And the rebound for Reed. Marquise Reed sprinting to the front court. Beats Thomas. And a foul called, and it will be on C.J. Walker, not Phil Kofor, who was underneath the basket here.
And as a result, Kamaji coming back into the game, but they've made some nice looks to Thomas, and you know, this is really a great team for him to play with, Wes, because it's spread out. You get drivers, and all he has to do is kind of shape up inside or get in the offensive glass.
Thomas back to the line.
They like to use him in pick-and-roll situations, too, at the end of the clock.
3 for Elijah Thomas, and here comes Amir Sims back into the ball game for Clemson. G-Man told you that 7'4" Chris Kamaji, the junior from N'Djamena in the nation of Chad, already on the floor there.
Hard to believe. Well, it's not hard to believe. He's the tallest player to ever play here, but we've seen some people who have pushed that. Yep. I mean, Leonard Hamilton always has a full cabinet full of guys who are over 7 feet tall.
Michael Ojo was here. Just an unbelievable.
Actually playing pretty well, I hear, overseas. And
Serbia.
And actually having getting some looks from NBA scouts over there.
Kamaji couldn't hang on to the rock there, and a foul as Thomas came away with it. So Kamaji picks up his first. That's 6 on Florida State. Another look.
Look inside, and again, just, you know, all right, you made a turnover, just get down the other end of the floor and get set up defensively instead of trying to get a ball you have no chance at.
Lead is 9 for Clemson, and here's Reed working against Forrest, and knocked away Savoy. Here's Forrest and the dunk.
Right.
P.J. Savoy did a good job triggering that chance.
Yeah, and Forrest is getting in some good minutes off the bench too, Wes. 4 points, 8 minutes. But that was a heck of a play, going out of bounds and being able to complete that pass.
And Reed bumped and fouled by Forrest.
It's just amazing that he was able to come up with this ball, and then that was basically a slap ahead with his left hand.
So 7th foul on Florida State is the 2nd on Chipley, Florida's Trent Forrest. So Marquise Reed, who is 89%, the 3rd best free throw shooter in ACC play, to the line for a 1-and-1. Picks up his 4th point. Clemson feels so good about Reed, G-Man, they empty the lane.
Yeah, it looks like one of those endgame situations where you're ahead. You don't want anybody down there to, you know, pick up a foul.
Lead 9 as we approach 5 minutes to go. Pretty crisp moving first half of play. Savoy launching, missed it, and DeVoe draws his 2nd foul.
And that was another ill-advised foul. And Brad Brownell was urging him to come out and contest, but you're not going to block this shot. He's got no chance to block it, and just gives up 3 free throw attempts.
So here is P.J. Savoy, just his 4th, 5th, and 6th free throw attempts of the year. We told you he missed 7 games with the knee injury, and there's his first point. His dad, Patrick, played at UNLV for the Running Rebels of Tark the Shark in the days gone by.
So he's seen a few towels eaten in his time.
Yes, yeah. And Clyde Trapp's come back in the ball game because Gabe DeVoe will join Shelton Mitchell on the Clemson bench with the 2 fouls.
Wow, and this is, you know, with those 2 out, an opportunity now for Florida State to, you know, chip into this lead.
But Marquise Reed's got to shoulder a lot of this load, doesn't he, Mike?
Yep. And, you know, they may go away from the three-point shot a little bit. Or not.
Yep. Reed knocks down his second. He's got 8.
And he's one guy you got to really pay attention to. You know, if you're in that pick and roll situation, you've got to get up and pressure.
Inside Kamaji with Thomas defending. First basket for Chris Kamaji.
Yeah, he just, you know, he's so, I don't know if he even left the floor on that play. Yeah, he just basically turned around, put his arm up, and he was over 10 feet.
And a foul called off the ball, and that is Elijah Thomas's second. So if you're charting fouls here, Clemson's got 2 on Mitchell, 2 on DeVoe, and now Thomas joins them with 2 with the offensive foul here.
Yeah, 3 starters who are going to be out for the last 4 minutes of the game, and there you have to be stationary in that situation. Let the ball handler use you.
Clemson showing a little zone here, Mike.
Well, because of the foul trouble. And you know, and another 3 that's fouled. Sims picking up that at the exact same spot.
And 2 on Amir Sims is 10 now on the Tigers with 3:58 to play. And we'll get a timeout. Brad Brownell talks to Lee Cassell about the last foul on Sims. Meanwhile, Marquise Reed and the Tigers continue to attack from the perimeter when we continue from Tallahassee. Eight-point lead for Clemson. Under 4 to go in this first half here in Tallahassee tonight. And 3-pointers have kind of been a storyline for Clemson, Mike, and Tigers haven't let up here.
No, not, you know, 22 field goal attempts in the game. 15 of them are from 3. Been pretty efficient at the line. Very good looks. And believe it or not, been 40%, probably a little below the rate they've been shooting at over this stretch.
You go to the last 5 games. Now, these are the 5 games they've played since Dante Grantham's been out of the lineup. 41 from the field, 41 from 3, and averaging 10 threes a game, Mike.
Yep. And that's, you know, that's to shoot, you know, to score just as much, making 41% from threes, you have to average 60% from the floor just to, you know, make those numbers work. That's why the 3-point shot has really changed the game of basketball over the last 15, 20 years.
Savoy hits all 3 of his free throws this time. He's attempted 6 free throws.
Yeah, you talk to coaches, and the shot they value the least is the mid-range jump shot. That's the post-ups, layups, free throws, and 3-point shooting in no particular order.
Sims back out here for Reed. Donnell, Skara, Trapp also on the floor for the Tigers. 7 to shoot for Clyde Trapp and the Tigers. Skara with 5. Looking for help. Feeds Sims. Shot clock violation.
Yeah, that's, you know, Skara's not the guy you want the ball in his hands with the clock running down. And he probably should have been better served to put that one up on the glass because they were in offense. Sims was right there for the offensive rebound. Coach of mine, Larry Brown, used to say, you make your mistakes up on the rim. And that extra dribble, it caused a shot clock violation.
Kamaji, offensive foul. Amir Sims steps in to draw the second on 7-4 Chris Kamaji.
Yeah, you're not going to block his shot, but this is what you can do. And, you know, Kamaji at 7-4, just out of control going to the rim.
Another turnover on Florida State in this first half. That is 10 on the Noles, Mike. That'll keep you from getting to 80 points as well. Trapp against the pressure of Florida State. Reed against Forrest. Coming up on 3 minutes to play now here in this first frame. Reed sets and fires, hits and draws the foul.
Well, I can't remember many games where there have been this many fouls on 3-point shots. But this is a lot of strength. And again, just, you know, Walker just, he's late getting out there on that screen.
By the way, Marquise Reed to the line for a chance at the rare 4-point play. 11 make it 12 here in the first half for the junior from Landover, Maryland.
There was it's only an 8-point lead, but I thought a real opportunity for Florida State with the foul trouble to really carve in it, if not take the lead before half was over.
That's back to 9 on the 4-point trip. Man, MJ Walker, who drew the foul on the drive. He's been a spark off the bench, now has 7 with the layup. 2.5 to go. I'm trying to decide who the last 2.5's bigger for, Mike. The Tigers or the Seminoles? Clemson, can they survive this first half foul trouble? And Reed turns it over, stepped on the midcourt line.
You know, and I will say, Wes, that, you know, you look at this logo in the center of the floor, right in the middle of it, that half-court line is tough to see. It's all white, and it's just there are a couple of grooves on either side of it. So I could see where a guard could get lost in there.
Yep. Logos have gotten big, too, haven't they? Well, no question where you're playing. Forrest skips it to Savoy. And tried to feed it back inside, turned it over. Trap for Reed. Working to the baseline. Here's Sims, 2 minutes to go. Trap trying to get by Terrence Mann. 10 to shoot. Donnell helps with the screen. Trap to the basket. And 1.
And I think what they're going to say is that he was inside the block charge line that time. Trap, I thought, overhandled on that possession, but really showed some size. And, yeah, his heels were on the line.
So with 1:45 to go, just as seemingly has been the story since Dante Grantham's injury, Mike, is how the Tigers have pieced together their success. And here, Clyde Trapp's helping them in the first half.
7 of the 8 guys who have played for Clemson scored in this game.
Lead back to 10 with 96 seconds to go here first half, and Savoy from deep. And the rebound for Sims. Well, Brad Brownell's got to feel great now, surviving this. 80 seconds to go. Here's Reed on the drive, and the score for Marquise Reed.
Well, the key for those two guys is to come back, get a good warm-up in the second half, and then really be careful in the first 5-6 minutes of that half, not picking up the third.
14 for Reed. The lead is 12 with a minute to go in the first half. Cofer. Walker and Mann have kind of been the scorers here for Florida State. Terrence Mann. A 9-2 Clemson run since Florida State cut it down to 5. 32-27.
Just been very efficient. 52%, 44% from 3, 89% from the line.
Skara slips baseline. They skip it for Trapp. Runner in the lane is short. Sims had it swatted out by Mann. Final 20 seconds here for the Noles. And Trent Forrest will direct the final possession.
Really just a lot of people standing around watching Forrest dribble.
Here's Savoy, shot faking the 3 at the horn. And Clemson's going to take a 12-point lead to the locker room at 41-29. Florida State had cut it to 5, and then the Tigers went on a run to push it back to a dozen. Clemson had it wire to wire in the opening 20 minutes here tonight at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. Stay tuned. Hardy's halftime report coming up next on a big night in the ACC with Clemson in front 12 at the break. Ready to ride second half in Tallahassee with Mike Cheminsky, Wes Durham. Okay, G-Man, pretty important second 20 minutes here for the Noles, I think.
Yeah, let's see what their defensive intensity more than anything like Wes is in the first 5 minutes. And, you know, conversely for Clemson, how quickly, I mean, if you're Brad Brownell and Gabe DeVoe has only taken 2 shots in this game, and you get a 12-point lead, you got to feel pretty good.
They've got a 12-point advantage. The interesting part, Florida State's got 11 first-half turnovers. They average 13 a game.
And only 3 assists. And where they got themselves into trouble, Wes, mostly was by getting up in the air without anybody to pass the ball to.
Here is Mitchell, who went to the bench with about 11 minutes to go, and Florida State, or Clemson, was able to hold on. Reed, who had the hot hand. By Obiagu, layup, fell off the front rim. Thomas tried to keep it alive. MJ Walker, who starts this second half with Ike Obiagu for Florida State. On the run, Walker the miss. So we got MJ and CJ both out there for Florida State.
Yeah, it seems like whoever for Florida State has the ball is putting their head down and running, and then we were waiting for Gabe DeVoe to show up, and good start right there.
8 now for DeVoe. He's got 2 triples and a pair of free throws. Minute in, the lead is 15.
One more three. We may see an early timeout by Leonard Hamilton.
Walker. Here's Kofor with 6 to shoot. Hanging jumper. Bill Kofor, his first points of the game, Mike.
And nice bailout jump shot on a possession that really wasn't going anywhere.
For Florida State, you have to be careful with this pressure.
Yeah, and this is the one, again, another area where Grantham really would impact the game because he gives you another ball handler out of the backcourt. But, you know, there may be, time may be coming early where they're going to have to do more pressure.
Mitchell.
So there are your 2 guys who spent a lot of time in the first half on the bench getting into rhythm early.
C.J. Walker.
Way too early in the shot clock when your offense isn't working well.
So the lead is 15. Sims knocks down a 3. He's got 10. Clemson now an 18-point lead.
They just walked into this building, and of course, defensive numbers for Florida State not nearly as good as Leonard Hamilton has had in the past, but Clemson in complete rhythm right now.
And there is Mann. He'll get the hoop and the foul. Terrence Mann, the first Knoll to double figures tonight. And the foul, I believe, on Elijah Thomas.
Yeah, that was good, able to get to a strong hand.
So Thomas has 3, and another look at Amir Sims.
I mean, he started off the first half with a made 3 as well. But you know, the looks that Clemson is getting from the 3-point line that are pretty uncontested.
Terrence Mann finishes off the 3-point trip. Here's the backcourt pressure again by the Knowles. Mitchell lost it. C.J. Walker, layup off the turnover.
Well, and that run and jump was not anticipated by Mitchell, but nobody really came to help, and nobody's helping out here.
Donnell takes the inbounds pass. And now Reed. Kofor reached across and draws the foul. That'll be number 1 of the half on Florida State, and the first on the redshirt senior Phil Kofor. Leonard Hamilton looking on. Season number 16 here in Tallahassee. His team has lost 2 straight, shooting 40% from the floor and 33% from behind the line. Here is Sims. Reed looped it to Mitchell, and C.J. Walker the trip. That's his 3rd. 2nd on Florida State.
And with amping up the pressure, you put yourself in a position where you may put Clemson in the penalty early, and you talked about how well they shoot it at the line.
Now 78-4 against the league. 75-4 through the regular season, which, by the way, is 2nd best in the ACC. And they're 8 of 9 tonight. And DeVoe working against Mann. Brian Angola did not start this second half, by the way. Here's the drive by DeVoe, and it got blocked out of bounds by Obiagu. Ike 45th block of the year. Mikey's 8th in the league and doesn't play but 7 minutes a game against the league.
And then this is one of the few times where Florida State's size has paid off inside.
Skara tried to get rid of it, got stripped out of there. Here's Mann with C.J. Walker, and he'll score again in transition.
Yeah, good hands inside, and this team finally now in the last minute and a half starting to play with some energy on both ends of the floor.
Florida State's cut what was an 18-point deficit down to 11 here with 16 and a half minutes to play.
That's the thing with this Clemson team, though. It all takes that 1-3 and winds it back out, but another good defensive stand.
Obiagu the rebound. Walker trying to get to the rim. Rebound Donnell. Here's Mitchell. Clemson wants to flip the floor. Bouncing over for Reed. Skip for Donnell. And now Mitchell's willing to wait to hand it to Reed with 12 to shoot. Pull up by Reed. Front rim miss, swatted out by Skara, right to Reed, who scores.
Terrific play. If you can't get the ball, tap it to a teammate. And I wonder from Brad Brownell, the 20 minutes that Reed played in the first half, if he tries to give him a little bit of a rest here early in the second.
Kofor put his head down and scores on the drive. Second field goal for Kofor.
Look, and the whole Florida State bench just imploring everybody to come up.
Skara. Reed left open, G-Man.
Yeah, that looked good. We were right on line with that position, but Donnell and Skara have done well in the middle of that zone and the pressure.
Man. Here's C.J. Walker. Trying to find a seam there. Now Kofor. He's got a couple of field goals. Took a bump and a foul.
Trip.
And it is on Shelton Mitchell. So he has 3. Thomas has 3. Clemson's lead is 11. Timeout on the floor in Tallahassee. ACC basketball is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the ACC. Geico. New York Life. Bojangles. Food Line. And by Toyota. Well, number 11 Clemson leading by 11 as we rejoin you from the Tucker Center. And boy, this is kind of an important stretch for the Tigers as we look at our upcoming slate, brought to you by the North Myrtle Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. They get Duke for the only meeting of the regular season on Sunday.
And it's not, with the schedules, the split schedule, it's not only who you get, but where you have them. So Clemson having them at home, and that's going to be a huge advantage. And
look at Florida State gets not only Clemson on the 28th, there's Kofor off the baseline.
Well, how about, if you're looking at the schedule, and, coaches can't get caught up in this, but Clemson team that was picked 13th in the league, and you're probably going, all right, win. I got a couple wins right there. And that has been anything but the case.
Clyde Trapp has come back on the floor and turned it over. Here is Trent Forrest.
And that's the one area. Now, Leonard Hamilton has played 10 guys in this game, Wes, and the bench has really come in and given him a lift.
Here is DeVoe against the Seminole pressure. All the way through. Loops it for Donnell. One dribble and turned it over. Angola back on the floor for the dunk.
Wow, this has just been a completely different. Brad Brownell wants a timeout. A completely energized Florida State defense has brought them back into this game.
The Noles to within 5. And the Tigers, a couple of unforced errors. And the senior Angola with the flush. 5-point lead for Clemson, but Mike, the second half has an entirely different tenor to it for the Noles.
Well, and it was 16 to 8 points off turnovers at half, West. Since that time, Florida State has gotten 8 points to 0 for Clemson. They've just been more active with their hands, and again, where the turnover occurs, just as important as the turnover. They've all been out front, and there's no way Clemson could recover. Plus, only 3 3-point attempts because of those turnovers for the Tigers, so they've closed that gap down.
Well, it's interesting. It was a 5-point game at 32-27. Clemson went on a 9-2 run to get to the locker room. Florida State's been on a 15-2 run since it was 18 points. And now all of a sudden here is Trapp on the floor. Skip to Skara out of the Brownell timeout. Tigers need a basket as much as they need anything else, and DeVoe has it bounce out. You can feel the momentum in the building moving, really for the first time tonight toward Florida State.
Yeah,
Right?
and Obiagu's been a nice presence on the defensive end of the floor, rebounding, getting some blocks.
Yep. Kabengele has come in to spell Ike. Yep. Here is Angola, who had the dunk and now gets a jumper to fall. He's got 6. And Florida State to within 3 at 51-48. Clemson is just one of their last 6 from the floor. Remember, Mitchell, Thomas, and Sims on Coach Brownell's bench.
And Brownell wants things to space out, and they're doubling and tacking the ball.
Reed stepped out of bounds. Yep.
And you know, I would think that Leonard Hamilton would like the fact that it's been the defensive intensity that's been fueling the offense rather than the reverse. You know, we've seen that with teams where they start seeing the ball go through the basket, all of a sudden they pick it up at the other end.
Florida State's run, the turnovers, by the way, have gone even at 11 all, and Angola shoots for the tie. Fascinating ball game, G-Man.
He's going for the Larry Bird shot right there.
Here's DeVoe out of a double team. Skara in the corner. Reed. Baseline, scoop, and score. Whoa, tough shot. 18 for Marquise Reed.
Yeah, tough inside. They drove him off the three-point line, but they gave up the baseline in the process.
Mitchell's reporting back to the table for Clemson. 5-point lead. Remember, Florida State had a chance to tie a moment ago. Now Angola.
This decision is it DeVoe that comes out for a little bit while we're around the TV timeout.
Kabengele. A third try. Can't buy the basket. Draws the foul. I think it's on Skara. Donnell. Mark Donnell's first, third on Clemson.
Kabengele, he had inside 3 orange jerseys that just beat everybody. That was just pure hustle play right there. And here it is, and used his body well.
Here is Fiondu Kabengele, a 20-year-old redshirt freshman from Burlington, Ontario in Canada, who is the nephew of Dikembe Mutombo. G-Man?
Yeah. I don't know if he brought the finger wave with him.
Dikembe never got any of your stuff.
He got all.
I said any, you're telling me all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Kabengele misses the free throw. You see M.J. Walker, who started the second half, come out. P.J. Savoy was checked in for the first time in the half, and Fiondu missed both of them. So it's a 5-point game, 8 minutes old.
And they are still running and jumping the basketball aggressively.
Skara, tough shot. Double figures for David Skara tonight.
Yeah, nice. And again, attacking that pressure. You got a number situation, but always attack the score.
Drive Kabengele. Inside they battle. Skara, who had his first basket a moment ago, the rebound. DeVoe had it punched away off his leg after Savoy, I think, got a hand on it. So David Skara in the scorebook tonight. Tough shot here, Mike. Clemson leads 7. Break any action. Don't forget Game 2 of our ACC College Hoops doubleheader coming up from the Joel in Winston-Salem. Josh Okogie and the Jackets are in town tonight. to meet Darrell Moore, Brian Crawford, and the Demon Deacons, Justin Kutcher, Corey Alexander. By the way, first of 2 meetings with Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. They'll play on the final day of the regular season, just as Clemson, Florida State have waited a while to have the first of their 2 meetings.
Really, it is an odd, an odd occasion when look at Duke and Carolina playing pretty close proximity to one another at the end of the year.
And Pitt and Duke played within like a week of each other.
Yeah.
State Carolina, we had the ball game Saturday. That was within 2 weeks. And here tonight in the Tucker Center, Florida State has turned Clemson over 6 times here in the second half and produced 8 points. That's helped the Noles get back into it, trailing by as many as 18 in the second half. It's a 7-point game, and Angola the up and under for the Hoop.
Yeah, they did a nice job working against the zone that time. Angola just kind of hiding behind the back line. No real shot blocker out there for Clemson right now.
Yeah, Thomas has been on the bench a good bit of this second half. Picked up his third 2 minutes into the frame. Now with 9 minutes gone, back to a 5-point Clemson lead. Mitchell. He's been kind of bothered by foul trouble a lot tonight and travels there. 7th turnover of the half on Clemson. Brad Brownell, 49 years of age, a native of Evansville, Indiana, has done a marvelous job with this Tiger team. Like you talked about it, preseason pick toward the back of the ACC. They got a lot of confidence in November and December, and what looked like a devastating injury to Dante Grantham, and now they've responded, winning 5 of their last 6.
Big year for him too, Wes. He hadn't been to the NCAA tournament since his first year at Clemson, and I don't know that people saw this coming. He told me he did.
Yeah.
Especially with Grantham early on, really had confidence in his ball club.
I think the other aspect of Clemson that impresses you is the toughness and connection they have as a basketball team.
Not to the level, but not dissimilar to Virginia in that way.
Turned over. Kabengele. Here's Forrest. Savoy. Oh, no. Deep and good.
Yeah, I think what the 2 words you said were the same ones that Leonard Hamilton was saying at the time, but Savoy showing supreme confidence in himself.
The minute he breaks the door in the building, he's in the range, isn't he?
Yeah. We just wonder where he is percentage-wise as far as that knee is concerned in health.
Ball away. Mitchell, a tough shot. Shelton Mitchell was 7. Back to a 4-point game.
That's the hard thing for Florida State is going to be cracking in a tough turnover right there. But trying to get that lead, fight all the way back, and then all of a sudden, if Clemson steps up, hits a couple threes, you're looking at double figures again.
Right. How many times can you climb back, right?
Yep.
Well, here's Reed left open. Forrest tried to get there. Skara. Long and rebounded Savoy. Here is Forrest. Layup good.
Well, that's what those long jump shots do to you, Wes. They can kill you sometimes. They often turn to be the first pass in a fast break. But boy, Florida State, when they get out and run, they can really score quickly in transition.
Under 9 to play. Reed defended by Walker. Marquise bumped and fouled M.J. Walker. That'll be his 3rd and 3 now on the Noles.
Here's a look at the great look ahead. One dribble. Nobody back, and Skara tries.
3rd on M.J. Walker. Mitchell to put it in play. Into the backcourt. Gabe DeVoe tracks it down. Reed burned his dribble. Skara right back to Marquise Reed. Cofer defended it well.
He went up with his hands straight up in the air. That's why the call wasn't made.
Thomas got knocked over by Terrence Mann. Offensive foul on Florida State. First on Mann, 4 on the Noles.
I think 2 correct calls at both ends of the floor. Just when you take that, that could have, that would have been a big of a call the other way.
That would have been 4 on Thomas.
Yep.
Here's the inbounds for Reed. Double team quickly, and he calls a timeout. And Walker and Savoy had trapped Marquise Reed.
And that could be big. I mean, he ran himself right into the corner, and you know that pressure is coming. You have to try to catch the ball in the middle of the floor somehow.
So a timeout in Tallahassee. 8:25 to play. 2-point ball game. Quick check of the Hardy's game summary tonight, Mike. What to make of all this? By the way, Clemson Jets shoot a free throw here in the second half.
See, that's the big thing. Plus, only 2 of 4 from 3. So you combine those two things and points over turnovers, and that's how Florida State gets back into this game.
Well, you know the Tigers are 11th in the country. Florida State is 17-8 and has some very nice wins. But you dive into the details here a little bit. RPI 47, strength of schedule is 65. You see the key win.
And all of a sudden, should they pull this one out, this becomes a marquee win for them.
Yep, no question. Virginia and Louisville have defeated Florida State in this building in the league. They've won 4 conference games here. And here is Mitchell working against C.J. Walker. Trying to beat him off the bounce. Skips it for DeVoe. Savoy right there.
And Clemson, even though with that run and jump, they've not been able to hurt Florida State.
DeVoe falls to the ground, gets it to Skara, who gets his second field goal.
Nice recovery, nice bailout.
So the transfer from Valpo's got a pair of second-half field goals. The lead back to 4. Under 8 to go. Walker clutched it. Florida State really playing without a big. Kofer's the biggest guy out there for him at 6'8", Mike. Man feeds Kofer for the hammer.
A little big on that play, though. Nice look over the top.
All 8 of Phil Kofer's points in the second half. Back to a 2-point game with 7:25 to go. Reed. Thomas. And he traveled.
And see, a center will have that call all the time, and may not have. It looks like a travel, but have a little stop and go. And Elijah Thomas almost had that one, but Kofer playing well above the rim. And man,
15 turnovers on Clemson tonight, Mike. 14 on Florida State, who couldn't get out of their own way handling the ball in the first half.
Right. Yeah, and but it's been that pressure up the floor that really has gotten into Clemson and worn them down a little bit.
Clemson has led all the way tonight. Florida State a chance to lead here. A 2 will tie, a 3 will lead, and Kofer ties it. 10 for Phil Kofer, his 6th double-figure game in the last 7 for Florida State. Locked up at 59. Mitchell over Walker. Missed it. Thomas the rebound and a foul. Number 5 on Florida State. And it's on M.J. Walker.
Florida State is willing to give up some things inside, Wes, inside the paint, especially to Thomas. But they are really defending the three-point line well.
4th on M.J. Walker. Or Clemson could use a 3 or just any basket here, couldn't it? Reed, a long 2.
That's the best of all shots if you're Leonard Hamilton. That long 2. It's either the smaller team out there when Clemson goes pick and roll, they can cover that a lot better.
Walker missing on the 3. Thomas the rebound. Florida State had hit their last 5 from the floor prior to the miss there. Reed, by the way, has got 20. And he scored 20 or more in 3 of their last 4 games for the Tigers. There's Mitchell. Looks to Skara. Layup good. Boy, good look, Shelton Mitchell.
And Skara seems like the forgotten man out there offensively. They're so locked in.
And a timeout asked for. And will be taken here by Florida State. Well, Shelton Mitchell kind of calming the turbulent waters for the Tigers.
Yeah, man, good back cut right there, and really nothing that C.J. Walker could do about it.
Well, Florida State's second half has been defined by, as you've mentioned, Mike, several times, not only what they've done defensively, but 10 points from Phil Cofer.
Yeah, and just, you know, if they're big, he's mobile, can put the ball on the floor, can finish inside.
Veteran player.
And that was, you know, for you know, Eli Thomas, that's about as well as you can defend somebody. He just beat you with a better shot.
Both teams at 50% or better here in the second half.
Clemson with a bit of a timeout issue, only one left. That was that timeout that was taken down in the corner, forced by the trap.
And here's Walker in a 4-point game with 5:40 to play, and Angola back on the floor. Man trying to work in tight. Cofer with 5 to shoot. Offensive foul, lower the shoulder on Elijah Thomas. He's drawn another charge. 6.5 on Florida State.
You know, a lot of times this is just good lateral foot movement. Thought he was going right, but then was able to, you know, get laterally back in position to take away the left hand.
So a 4-point lead. DeVoe's got to get it in bounds. Does to Mitchell. Remember, Mike just told you one timeout left for the Tigers. Here's Scar racing front court. I'm not sure that's the way that was drawn up.
No, it, but effective. But you can see that the pressure just. This is a big possession, big defensive stop for Florida State.
DeVoe, triple away. Forrest the rebound. Angola on the drive. Thomas the rebound of the miss. Quick outlet for Gabe DeVoe.
So pretty good transition defense by Florida State, getting back, cutting that break off.
Coming up on 4.5 to play. DeVoe on the drive. Back for Thomas. DeVoe step back. Knocked down the three.
Big shot.
11 for DeVoe on his third triple of the night. Back to a 7-point game. Cofer tries to answer and does. 13.5 for Phil Cofer.
I'll tell you what, those are two big shots on either end of the floor.
Reed's been the Tigers' scoring star. And now Scar in a double team. Back for Marquise. Reed's three. Short. And the Tigers will run down the long rebound. DeVoe lost it on the dribble, out of bounds. That'll bring us to a break.
Bring you to a break.
How about this game? 4-point difference. Down the stretch we go in Tallahassee. Four-point game as we rejoin you tonight from Tallahassee. With Mike Jaminski, Wes Durham, our producer Jay Hoover, our director Michael Thompson. Time for tonight's Principal Financial well-planned plays. And I'm not sure this is how they draw them up, but these are big shots, Mike.
Yeah, no, I mean, those were back-to-back. Both could have been, DeVoe's shot could have been a momentum breaker, but then Cofer coming back with the answer.
DeVoe has found double figures with 11. Clemson's got 10 threes, Mike.
Yep. It's a 6th game in a row, and but they've also got 10 turnovers in this second half alone.
Yep. Tigers are 10 of 23 from behind the line. 44%. 4-point lead. Florida State the ball, though. Forrest on the drive, blocked out by Thomas. Boy, Elijah Thomas has had a nice second half, G-Man.
Yeah, he's got a nice stretch, too, without picking up that 4th personal foul. Good help on that.
15 to shoot on the inbounds to Forrest. Angola tees one up. Too strong. DeVoe the rebound. Well, Brian Angola is having a hard time getting out of the slump, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's not a good way of doing it either. It's like you need to get something going in the rim. You try to shoot yourself out of it from 3-point. It's tough.
Here's Reed. 10 to shoot. Marquise Reed on the drive.
He just bided his time. Thomas was pulled out. The lane was wide open.
He's got 22 now. The lead is 6 for the Tigers. Kofor trying to find an alley on Skara. Tough shot and got it.
And he had to take that because Thomas was coming down to double team on the dribble. Just turned away from help.
15 now for Phil Kofor, all in the second half. The game is back to 4 with 2:33 to go. Reed again off the dribble and gets the roll.
Well, it's tough for a right-handed player, but he's gone left the last couple of times. Basically the same play, although that screen a little bit higher.
Kofor a 3. Long rebound. Here's Angola. Back in traffic. And we'll get a held ball that'll go to Florida State with 2:09 to play. It'll belong to the Noles on alternating possession. Here's Marquise Reed.
But here's the thing, Wes, and everybody drawn up top, and help can't get there on those drives.
C.J. Walker for Trent Forrest here. New 30, by the way, for the Noles. Forrest working against DeVoe. Ran right into Thomas.
Great help.
Kofor, another 3. Thomas, the rebound.
It came awfully close to grabbing that ball off the rim.
Under 2 to go. Clemson has 1 timeout. Florida State 2.
Well, I think with the perimeter guys that Clemson has, that Brad Brownell feels pretty good about playing with them with 1 timeout.
Mitchell 5 to shoot. Tried to go to Scar, turned it over to Angola. Florida State in transition. Man finishes. 13 for Terrence Mann, a Leonard Hamilton timeout. The Noles back to within 4 with 1:24 to play in the game. Boy, Tiger turnover, Mike. Got him again.
Yeah, that was, right that pass to the first leg. That was a great read right there. And I think really a good decision by Angola. Knew he was struggling, drew the defense, and gave it up for a layup.
So each school's got 1 timeout. G-Man, there is a bit of a wrinkle here as we go down the stretch.
Foul.
Clemson only has 3.
Yep. Yeah, Florida State. Next foul on the Seminoles puts Clemson at the line. Clemson has a few to play with.
Right. In other words, the Tigers can't afford to give up the lead here.
Yep. Because then they're going to have to just burn time getting fouled.
And you double down, don't you?
Yep.
Almost turned over, and it was. And Mann got in the air and got the timeout called on the turnover. This is a sensational play by Terrence Mann to not only steal the inbounds pass, but then get timeout call. It's rewarded by Roger Ayers.
Right, and I think Brad Brownell is arguing the fact that, it was the inbounds, and, yeah, he called timeout when he was on the floor and landed in bounds. But, Wes, I don't know if the possession meant more than having a timeout in that instance. You made a great defensive play. You got them pinned back, but you burn a timeout, and now you have none left.
Clemson, who led by as many as 18 in this second half, saw Florida State tie the game at 59. Surrendered the lead the entire evening.
Yeah, I don't mind, you have that burning to use it or lose a timeout in the first half. I don't mind that type of play in the first half, but I think with a minute 23 to go in this side of the game, that you got to eat the ball and then just defend.
Well, and the question, I guess, is Mann may not have known exactly how much space he had when he intercepted the ball.
Yeah, because he could have very well, he jumped, he could have very easily just come down and waited for, some help. It looked like there were some outlets.
Right. So 1:23 to play. Florida State's got a full 30 here, but out of timeout. Don't forget Georgia Tech, Wake Forest to follow from Winston-Salem. Justin Kutcher and Corey Alexander standing by Joel Coliseum tonight for the Deacons and Jackets first meeting of the year. Angola to put it in play. Here's Walker. Gets into traffic. Now Kofer, who's had a hot hand, continues to do so.
Well, he's made every big shot down the stretch for Florida State.
17 for Kofer. Knowles to within 2 with 70 seconds to go. Angola defends Mitchell. Reed, DeVoe, Skara, and Thomas on the floor for the Tigers.
Late high pick and roll.
Thomas waving his hand. Here goes Mitchell with 6 to shoot. Works in traffic. DeVoe. Deep three. Off the iron. And out of bounds. And it will belong to Clemson with a new 30. And 40.9, but they can check and will do so.
Yeah, Roger Ayers is going to signal under 2. You can go over and review that play. It was a great play. It was Thomas on a back screen right here to get DeVoe the look. And that ball was.
Is this man?
You can't see who came in from the play, but
yep.
They're right there, and it was man who touched it. Or knocked it out of bounds.
Yep. Well, Florida State's second half story is being written in part by Phil Kofer. All 17 of his points in the second half for 0 on the Knoll roster. 8 of 9 from the floor, including that high arcing 3, Mike, that he had.
Well, and the key thing right there was Florida State not getting that miss. The hustle play. Now Clemson gets another 30 seconds to play with. Yeah, you gotta.
How long does Florida State wait, Mike? Can you foul here, or do you play it out?
Yeah, then Thomas is at 61%. Scar at 54. You can get the ball in his hands.
Do you burn the foul then, though? 2-point game. Mitchell to put it in play. Spot throw in for the Tigers. And now Reed.
Yeah, this goes down. They'll probably give themselves 11, 12 seconds to go before they make the play.
Half minute to go in the ball game. Here's Reed around Angola. Skips it to Skara. Bounce pass back to Reed. Left it short. Man the rebound with 18 seconds to go.
And you've got plenty of fouls to give here.
Here's Forrest on the drive. Ties the game with 8 seconds left. Delay a game against Trent Forrest. Lee Cassell will go to the table here.
Wes, if you're Clemson, why don't you burn a foul or two? You've got 3. Get him out at the 3-point line.
8 seconds to go. Clemson has a timeout. DeVoe will put it in play. Reed with 6, 5. Here's Marquise Reed for the win. Air ball in overtime. Tied at 70. Clemson and Florida State produced the 10th overtime game in ACC play this year. The Noles have scrambled from 18 down in the second half. We're going to overtime, tied at 70 after this. Well, tied at 70. The 10th overtime game in ACC play this year is set and ready to go. After Trent Forrest tied this game at 70, Mike.
Yeah, no, he's made some big plays, and really the Florida State bench plus their defense has played such a huge role in this game. And that would have been and he's been Reed has been going left all second half. That was one of the few that he was not able to finish.
So now you see the overtime marks. Florida State is undefeated in overtime at 2-0.
Both those wins here.
Yep. One of them Miami. And the other one Syracuse.
And those were a lot more high-scoring affairs, though.
Clemson beat Louisville 74-69, so they've both been to overtime. Florida State is 4-3 in ACC play in games decided by 5 or less or overtime. Clemson is 4-1 in those games.
And Chris Kumaji back on the floor to start the overtime for Florida State.
And now that foul situation you talked about at the end of regulation becomes pretty big, doesn't it? 70 all the game. We'll send you to Winston-Salem for Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. But settle in for an extra 5 here in Tallahassee. Angola for the lead. And the rebound for Thomas. And a foul will be called, I believe, on Kamaji.
And that puts Clemson at the free throw line for the rest of the game.
Yep. 7th on Florida State at the 4:41 mark of the overtime.
Clemson sitting there with 2 timeouts. Florida State with 1. You get the extra 1 in the overtime.
Elijah Thomas had the 4 points. Nothing in the second half, Mike. And now 1-1 to start overtime. 61% on the years you outlined earlier. One dribble and then pushed it right up there.
And you can see, even with that, Clemson more concerned with getting players back in transition than having anybody up at the free throw line at all.
Thomas's second is short. 1-point lead for the Tigers. Florida State has never led in this game. Tied it at 59, tied it at 70. To get it to the overtime, here's Forrest shooting for the lead. Scarra, the rebound on the miss. And then he fell down with it out of bounds. It'll go to the Knolls. Looked like Kofor and Angola were both there for Florida State, Mike.
There's been a number of times in this game. I wonder if there's some condensation on the floor where players have lost their footing both ends.
Miscue there. We'll give it to Florida State. Forrest. Angola. Man lost it. And they go to the deck. And finally, Florida State keeps it. Man thought about it. Forrest won't shoot a 3. It's not his game. Angola with 10 to shoot. Here's Man trying to take Scar inside. But he lost it and traveled. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, another player on this other side.
Well, it has been a warm day here.
Yep.
In the mid-70s in Tallahassee.
Roger Ayers supervising things, making things sure that everything's wiped up.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was watching him playing. He was really, Kamaji's doing nothing more than screening out on the perimeter. And Thomas has done a nice job hedging and showing and cutting down driving angles.
Minute gone in the overtime, 1-point lead for the Tigers. Reed just barely beat the 10-second count.
The Florida State bench wanted that badly.
Here's Mitchell with 10 to shoot. Tough night for Mitchell. Scarra now on the drive. Put it up. Thomas the rebound. Had it. Got it back. And a shot clock violation on Clemson.
Yeah, Roger, they're going to look and see if that ball hit the rim.
Well, we're going to do the same here. They'll go to the monitor, and we're going to take a look too, Mike. Oh, we got an excellent camera there.
If it did,
it did not hit the rim.
No. No.
Wow.
Just to look like somebody got a fingertip on it just at the end to block it off to the right.
Roger Ayers is seeing the same replay you saw. Yep. Now that's where the check of the monitor is always good. Under 2 minutes to go, of course, at the end of a ball game, and certainly in overtime. It took us a while, but we finally got the game we thought we might get tonight, huh?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't looking that way in the first 20 minutes.
Unbelievable.
But then That must have been, I hope they taped that halftime address by Leonard Hamilton, because it was a completely different team, a much more energized team that came out for the Seminoles.
Clemson led by 12 at the half, by as many as 18 with 18 minutes to play. Florida State got us to overtime on a Forrest bucket with 8 seconds left to tie it at 70. There's Kofer on the drive, and he is fouled on the bump by Elijah Thomas.
And see, that's a tough cover for Thomas.
Yeah.
With Christ out of the ball game now, it forces him to move over. And as well as he's moved laterally, Kofer just really good with the basketball. If anything, it was more of a bailout play by Scar, who just kind of waved at it instead of coming over and getting in the way.
Remember now, that's just 14 fouls on Clemson, Mike, so no free throws. Reset of the shot clock with 3:17 to play.
I'll still go back to the last 20 seconds, that last possession, why they didn't foul earlier in that play.
Walker fighting through. Blocked, I think, DeVoe.
Yeah.
And then a travel is called as Thomas and DeVoe were trying to collect a possession for the Tigers.
That's right. This has been a football possession for Florida State down that end of the floor. DeVoe comes in with 12 blocks on the year. But you know what?
That's a good call.
Yeah, and Elijah Thomas thought he was fighting somebody from Florida State instead of his own man.
20 Clemson turnovers tonight. A bunch of them in the second half and overtime. Kofer. He has been the guy for Florida State from a scoring perspective. 17 points, all in the second half. Nothing yet here in overtime. In fact, Florida State hasn't scored. The only marker in the overtime, a Thomas free throw for Clemson. Angola with 5 to shoot. Finally launches. DeVoe comes out of there with it.
Boy, just nothing, no movement or anything on that possession.
Gabe DeVoe trying to run the offense. 20 to shoot, 2:25 to play. Tigers 20 turnovers, their most this season in a ball game. Mitchell for Reed, 7 to shoot. Reed back to Thomas, inside and one. Elijah Thomas's second field goal of the ball game.
Well, and watch this pick and roll, and late to come over and help it again. MJ Walker doesn't have the size to compete with him inside.
Walker's going to foul out of the ball game with 2:10 to play in overtime. And 7 points, all in the first half. And Elijah Thomas will go to the line to try and make it a 4-point game. Tough night for the freshman from Jonesboro, Georgia. Got off to a really good start, I thought, Mike. Did Walker. Remember, he had those 5 in a row that kind of sparked Florida State after a very sluggish start.
Let's see if Florida State maybe goes back into an isolation system, situation with Thomas and Kofer.
Elijah Thomas, 4 for 6 at the line tonight. Makes it a 4-point game. C.J. Walker handles the ball with 2 minutes to play in overtime. Man. Walker fires and hits. C.J. Walker's 3rd field goal of the ball game. He has 7.
Just fearless, rising up to, had a little space.
Shelton Mitchell. Marquise Reed's got 24 tonight to lead the Tigers. Scar looked inside. Thomas covered up. Here's Reed with 5 to shoot. Squares on Forrest. Air ball out of bounds. It'll belong to Florida State.
I think Gabe DeVoe is getting a little frustrated right now. He hasn't had many looks in this game.
Brad Brownell 2 timeouts. Leonard Hamilton 1 as we go down the stretch. 75 seconds to play in overtime. Clemson by a point. Forrest spinning, moves. Florida State leads for the first time tonight. 12 for Trent Forrest. How about that, Mike? Some kind of move.
That was some sort of, unbelievable body control. How he was able to stop and get that ball up on the backboard.
Noles lead for the first time all night long on this unbelievable showcase by Trent Forrest. Back to Tallahassee for the final 55-6. Well, 75-74 Florida State. Trent Forrest, since going 2 of 3 from the floor in the first half for 4 points, Mike, has really kind of sparked. He and Kofer and Forrest not noted for threes.
Yeah, no, that style points there should have counted for something as well. But really, the bench, Wes, 28-16 has been a big factor for Florida State.
So now, with under a minute to go, Florida State brings Angola, C.J. Walker, Trent Forrest, Terrence Mann, and Phil Kofer back on the floor. And Leonard Hamilton, who, if he wins tonight, will have career win number 500, 300 in Tallahassee. And Brad Brownell, whose team has showed unbelievable toughness and grittiness throughout this season, now trails for the first time tonight. Mitchell's got to get it in bounds. 5 seconds to call. And another turnover for the Tigers gives them 21, which is their most in a ball game this season.
And that was not Mitchell's fault, because he really didn't have anybody coming toward the basketball. And the referee's trying to get both benches under control. You get a stop here, you're Clemson, that's all you're thinking about. You will get the ball back with plenty of time to score.
1-point game, Forrest. And a foul called on Reed. Marquise Reed's first. That is 5 on Clemson. It's 2 more now to draw common ground free throws. The 10th overtime game in ACC play this year. This has been a fascinating nearly 45 minutes of basketball. And Clemson's going to play this straight, Mike.
Well, and Forrest thought he had to get it over half court with 20 seconds, but to get the new 10-second count.
Right.
He could have wasted a few more seconds in the backcourt.
Forrest on the drive, hanging jumper. It's a 3-point game. Trent Forrest, a career high, now 14. And 2 big field goals in overtime. Inbounds, here is Mitchell. Florida State by 3. Mitchell drives and draws the foul. Free throws coming for Shelton Mitchell on Phil Kofer's 3rd foul.
I like the play, the aggressive play going to the basket.
So here is Mitchell to shoot 2 free throws. 84% on the year.
But if you're Clemson, you have to foul 4 times to get into the penalty.
And it rims out. Clemson with the 5 team fouls. They have 1 timeout. But it's a 3-point game after the miss by Mitchell still. Made the second. 8 points tonight for Mitchell.
Brad
Brownell burns that timeout. Leonard Hamilton also has 1 remaining. The Tigers, number 11 in the country, winning 4 straight. Mike, we talked about this early in the night. You had to look at who. Florida State, this was a critical game for Leonard Hamilton's team.
Yeah, and not to push all in on preseason stuff, which I hate anyway, but this, for the ranking and for what Clemson has become,
right,
this turns into a terrific resume win if it plays out for Florida State.
Yep.
And we'll make the return to Littlejohn awfully interesting.
All right. Leonard Hamilton's huddle's pretty simple, right? Take care of the basketball.
Well, yep.
A little more complex for Brad Brownell here, G-Man.
Yeah, and it's just, again, you got to, I would think, try to go for the steal, but you have to foul awfully fast twice.
Yep. And we said earlier, this is where not having a team in the bonus, once you surrender the lead, it becomes you double down a little bit.
Yep.
Now, Mann is on the floor. He's 70%. Angola on the floor, 84%. Trent Forrest is 68. C.J. Walker's 75. And Phil Cofer is 67% at the line.
It looks like Mann is going to take the ball inbounds.
First touch foul?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you're going for the steal, but then you've got to make sure the referee gives you that call.
Walker breaks to the basket. Now they trap. Here's Cofer. Here's Angola with 15 seconds. Layup, good. Brian Angola now with 10. Other end, Mitchell swatted out with 9.1 to go by Forrest.
He whacked his head on the floor. The West said they just, why not foul in that situation?
And Shelton Mitchell is having a hard time to his feet. And Florida State
they're waving Clemson's people over.
Yep, sure are.
And he can't even stand up.
So Shelton Mitchell being tended to here.
Here's the look. It's like four bodies and you're flying out of control. We'll get hit right there.
And Forrest caught him on the...
Yeah, and then his first thing to hit was his forehead.
So Mitchell is down, and not only are the Clemson folks there, there's some other medical personnel that have come to his attention.
Yeah, there's the first contact. No, it didn't look like he hit his head on the floor. It just was that elbow.
Contact to Forrest. Yep.
Yeah. Now the referee's over there looking to see if that was a flagrant foul of any kind.
So the scenario will be Mitchell obviously being tended to here. The concern obviously for the young man, but in terms of the game, somebody else will be shooting free throws here. And with 9.1 to go, this discussion with Roger Ayers and Tim Nestor and Lee Cassell has to do with whether anything other than the foul. Is this flagrant one potentially? And meanwhile, Shelton Mitchell being tended to. So just the foul. Basketball play. All right, we'll take a break. Come back to Tallahassee. 4-point game. All right, so 79-75 with 9.1 to go. I had said a moment ago, Mike, that there might be free throws. There's a basketball play. There was no foul issued to Trent Forrest in that process.
Yeah, it's just a block. And,
right.
And it looked like you got off balance going up in the air, Wes, almost like you wrong-footed it.
So it's a block by Forrest, and the ball will belong to Clemson with 9.1 and a 4-point game. Meanwhile, Shelton Mitchell has been down since the play occurred. He tried to regain his feet.
Two or three times.
Right.
It looked like he got up, and he was just wobbly.
So our ball game here has been stopped for about 4 minutes. And Florida State this 4-point lead. We know many of you are waiting on the start of Georgia Tech Wake Forest. Justin Cutcher and Corey Alexander standing by in Winston-Salem. We'll join them as soon as we're finished here. And meanwhile, they've done an excellent job. The Florida State and Tallahassee folks here at the Tucker Center have gotten out to attend to Shelton Mitchell.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm sure that he's stabilized,
right.
And you know, whether what transpires, whether stretcher is needed or. So it looks like there's some movement, and when the crowd starts cheering, it usually means that he's able to move around.
So Mitchell has come to a seated position. And I'm sure they're waiting here in just a few moments to make sure and try and help him from the floor. By the way, also in the ACC tonight, we showed you the score briefly. Duke did beat Virginia Tech 74-52, the final tonight in Durham. Grayson Allen 25 for the Blue Devils. Wendell Carter another double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. The storyline of the game will be Marvin Bagley did not play for a second consecutive game. Clemson will host Duke on Sunday at Little John Coliseum. Blue Devils, by the way, 21-5, now 9-4 in the ACC, with 4 of their last 6 at Cameron.
Yeah, and I don't know what to make of the Bagley injury. It seemed like at first that one game was a more of a precautionary move, and this one, maybe hides it out a little bit more. But
so Shelton Mitchell
is being carried off the floor.
I don't like that.
So Mitchell goes back to the Clemson locker room. And the Tigers will have the ball with 9.1. Clyde Trapp has come on the floor.
They got to have a quick hitting play right now. Now they got to collect themselves.
Trapp will put it in play. Looking for help. Here's Skara, the catch. Layup good. David Skara.
He really bailed him out. Nice movement by him.
Need a foul here. And 8 seconds to go. 79-77.
And man, it does have the ability to run the sideline. Or end line, I should say.
Clemson probably would like to get a foul here as quick as possible. Inbounds, Angola fouled, and that's Trapp. That is 6 on Clemson. 9/10 of a second came off the clock.
And Angola, one of the top 10. Then again, this is, where you have to foul again.
He's 87% in league play, which is 7th. Mike, as you know.
Yep.
And now Leonard Hamilton wants a timeout with 7.1 left. We'll take a break. Back to Tallahassee. 2-point game. All right, 2-point game. Leonard Hamilton out of timeouts. Brad Brownell out of timeouts. Clemson's battling the clock and the game.
Well, I'm a little surprised they took that timeout and not having it in your back pocket in case you can't get this inbounds. Now he has to.
Man wants to throw it deep. Now got to heave it and will look for Walker. Stolen Skara. Foul is on Walker with 5.8 left.
Wow. Well, Wes, what I tell you, you get in that situation, if you had that timeout, you could have called it, but now, how many times have we seen that, the ball thrown long, and Skara definitely with the size advantage. This crowd is in shock and should be.
10 fouls on Florida State, 2 free throws for David Skara. First attempts of the night, he's 62% on the year, and it rattles out. So now all of a sudden with 5.8, you miss it.
I take the points. If you still got time to get a quick foul and you still have time to advance it up. How many times have you seen it miss on purpose, especially, and then get it and score.
Made it. 9 for Skara.
And I like the fact they have Thomas and some size on the ball.
Florida State trying to get it in play. They're out of timeout. Forrest fouled promptly, and that was Reed.
He's still, Wes, he makes them both. It's a 3-point game, and you've got 5.3 to get it up the floor.
And it's 1-1 for a guy who shoots, by the way, 68% and hasn't been to the line tonight. Well, we played the 10th overtime game in ACC play this year, Mike. There were only, by the way, 7 last year in conference play. And this has been, we've seen it all here, haven't we?
Thought it was over, then it wasn't.
Yep.
Thought it was over again.
2-point game. Clemson is going to have a chance. By the way, Forrest is working on a career high. That's 15 for him.
They're bringing Donnell in another 3-point shooter.
5 seconds is plenty of time, right?
Yep.
Regardless of whether he hits or misses. For Clemson to get a shot. Forrest out of Chipley, Florida. Clemson will need a 3 to tie.
No.
Inbounds Reed. And fouled. He put up the shot. Walker fouls out of the game.
Yeah, it's only going to be 2 shots.
Right.
He's not in the motion.
3.6 left in overtime.
That's a good call. That wasn't even, it wasn't even close. Good sell job, but why not?
It was the old Hall of Famer Walt Frazier that one time said, I was fouled and I wanted to make sure they knew I was in the act of shooting from the midcourt line. I threw the ball up when the guy scraped my arm. It went flying over the backboard and there was no foul called. That was not the case for Reed, but now here's a very good free throw shooter, Mike, who has to miss. He can make one.
Yeah.
Reed's got 24. First one good.
Now both of the referees on the bottom are going to be looking at those inside blockouts.
Cabangeli, Thomas on one side with Mann, Angola, Kofor, and Skara on the other side. Reed had it rim out. Thomas got it, put it up, bothered but not blocked, and then the horn sounds. Elijah Thomas had a chance.
And I think he thinks there was some contact and a foul, but there was a big scrum under the basket.
81-79, Florida State wins in overtime. Leonard Hamilton's 500th career win, his 300th with the Noles. How about this game, Mike?
Wes had so many twists and turns, and Clemson came out, played a great first half. I thought Florida State was listless. Then they picked it up defensively.
Clemson now 9-4 in the league, 20-5 overall. Disappointing night for the Tigers. Florida State goes to level par in the league at 7-7. They're 18-8 overall. Trent Forrest gets a career high for Florida State tonight. He finishes with 16 points. Phil Kofor had 17 all in the second half.
Well, and with this win, the road to the postseason may get a little bit easier for the Tiger. Not done yet, but maybe 9 wins instead of 10 wins in the conference does it now.
Florida State hosts Pittsburgh on Sunday. Duke visits Little John Coliseum. Our producer, Jay Hoover. Our director, Michael Thompson. The G-Man, West Durham and Tallahassee. 81-79, the final in overtime. Florida State a win. On to Winston-Salem. Justin Kutcher, Corey Alexander.